Okay, last time we explained the neuron structure and how the action potential in the neuron is occur. And we said the action potential that if there is a stimulus, stimulate the neuron.
Mister,
Yes, mister.
can I please record the meeting?
I'm recording it. I will send it to you, inshallah, in the group. Don't worry. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, and you can record it. If the option is available, you can record it.
I need
Okay.
your permission.
No problem. But I'm recording it also, and we'll send it, inshallah, to the group. Okay, guys. So here, this is the neuron, as we said last time. Who's there? Mahad and Nawaf are late. Okay. Nawaf is coming, and Mahad. This is Mahad. Okay. Last time we said if the neuron could be stimulated by another neuron, another neuron can stimulate this neuron, okay, or any stimulus from outside, from the environment. So stimulus or another neuron can affect on this neuron, right? Or trigger this neuron. We say the stimulus make action potential in this point. Action potential, right? And the action potential actually is the impulse, the message in different words, okay? And last time we already explained how this occur when we said that on the membrane, on the neuron, we have resting before the stimulus, at resting.
Sodium,
Okay.
potassium.
Yes, we call it resting
Pump.
state. Resting
Yes.
state. What maintain the resting state is sodium potassium pump, and A plus K plus pump. This pump maintain the resting state by, as we said, releasing 3Na plus outside while getting in 2K plus inside.
2K
yeah,
plus.
exactly. That makes permanent positive outside compared with inside negative. Okay, so what makes outside positive compared with inside? We said the sodium potassium pump, which is, by the way, the sodium potassium pump found in all along all the membrane. It's not only here, the sodium potassium pump. No, it's found in everywhere along all the membrane. What its function, as we said, maintain the positive outside compared with inside, or the negative inside compared with outside. Okay, by releasing three sodium ions outside and 2 potassium ions inside. We said if there's a stimulus, in the neuron, or trigger the neuron like this, if there's a stimulus in this point, what will happen? This
will happen. The Na plus channel will open.
Yeah. What is the channel that is opened by the stimulus?
Channel.
The Na plus channel. Yes, the Na plus channel open, right? Where in this place. What does it do, this channel? It's allow for diffusion of Na plus to inside the cell, right? To inside the cell. Type. What will happen if the Na plus diffuse inside the channel? That makes
exchange,
in this position to exchange the charge, to become positive inside and negative outside. And this is temporary exchange. Okay, temporary exchange. Yani it's not for forever. It's just for this time. Temporary change of the charge. Okay, And then, by the way, this
Resting
is
stage.
called action potential. This is called what? Action
Action
potential, right? Action potential. And it's the message, the impulse. And we say this message moves forward, right? Moves forward
Yeah.
from where to where, as we said in before. It's from the cell body direction toward the terminals directions, right?
Terminal.
In this direction,
Yes.
from the cell body toward the terminals. Type. We said this action potential here, this exchange of charge in this area, trigger the next area to do action potential also, right? So the next area will get
Yes.
action potential, and this area, the previous one, will return back
Can I
to
make
the
re-resting?
re-resting.
Stage.
Yes, re-resting state. What is the re-resting state? That return back to the normal state. How it returns back to the normal state? Now we said the original one is positive outside, negative inside. Now this one got action potential. Now it will get back to the normal. How? By open the K plus channel. Okay, and close what? Close the NA plus channel. Okay, Khaldun. Okay, so open the K plus channel and close the NA channel. What will happen now here? The K plus channel open, so it diffuse outside, because as you know, K plus is high concentrated inside. Okay, so it diffuses outside, that return back the positives outside and negative inside. This is the re-resting state. Is it clear for all? Type. I will show you
Yes.
the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is very clear. This is the sodium potassium bomb. We already accept. Remember, the sodium potassium bomb, which maintain the resting state, needs energy, needs ATP. Okay, just a second, please. Okay, guys, I'm back. And in the PowerPoint, you can find everything explained. Type. How is nerve impulse transmit? How the message transmit in the membrane? We explained this too, that moving the impulse begins when a neuron is stimulated by another neuron or by the environment, like this way. We just said that if there's a stimulus, here the action potential occur. What is the action potential? Exchange of the charge by entering or diffusion of Na plus, the sodium ions, to inside. Okay, that exchange the charge to positive inside. Okay, fine. And then we said the impulse move ahead by this action potential in this area, trigger the next area to open the Na plus channel here, so it diffuse inside, makes inside positive to out compared with outside. The previous one return back to negative inside. How it returns back to negative state inside? By open the channels of K plus, so the K plus diffuse to outside. Okay, guys, you understand the idea?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Threshold, we explained it last time. We said the threshold
is the
should,
minimum.
yeah, should
Force.
it's the minimum level of stimulus, that is required to activate a neuron, to carry out action potential. Stimulus that's stronger than the threshold produces impulse. But stimulus weaker than the threshold, if it's weaker than the threshold, so no impulse. Okay, no impulse. Type. Yes. Now the impulse keep going till it's arrive the terminals here. Yeah, you can see here, we said the impulse moves toward the what? Terminals. What is going there in the terminals? It could be, it could have another
It can
neuron
go to
here,
another
another
neuron.
neuron, or
It
organ
can go to
such
the
as
central
muscle
nervous
or
system.
anything like muscle or gland,
vector.
anything. Yeah. So here the message arrive another neuron or arrive another organ such as muscle or gland. What will happen there? There, the meeting point between the neuron and another neuron, or neuron with the gland, neuron with the muscle, this meeting point, we called it synapse. Synapse,
Yes.
right? What is happening in
Yes.
synapse? Let's see here. Sorry.
Mister, I have a question.
Yes.
The terminals can go to one of three places, either the central nervous system, or another neuron, or another muscle.
It's not necessary to center. Wait, I will show you something. Here, yani, now the neuron, the neuron, uh, the neuron can be connected to another neuron, okay, and then to another neuron, then to another neuron, okay, till it's arrive the central nervous system, okay, central nervous system. Yani, from the sensor to the central nervous system, usually it's not one neuron, it could be many neurons connected to each other. You understand? Okay.
Yeah.
And the one neuron can be connected with many neurons, not only your skin, for example, all your skin has sensors for temperature and pressure. All of them send messages to the central nervous system. How? It's interconnected together like this. You see? Here, sensor, sensor, okay?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it send the messages and intercourse together, as you see, it cross together or meet together in these points. So we have meeting points or synapse points between the neurons. You understand? Or it
Yes.
could reach, for example, from central nervous system, could send message to the muscle or to the a gland or whatever, right? To gland or to muscle or to, so there are meeting points or synapse again, or here synapse or here synapse. So you could find different synapses between different neurons or neurons with other organs. You understand?
Yes.
Good. Let's see what is happening in the understand. In the synapse. In the synapse, at the end of the neuron, the impulse reach at axon terminal, the axon terminal. Okay, and there in the axon terminal, this is the axon. At the end or the terminal of the axon, we have, as we said, what structure? What we call the structure? Remember? Huh? Knob. We called it what? This one, knob,
Yes, no,
right?
no.
Good. This is called knob, terminal knob. Usually the neuron makes contact with another cell at this site. Okay, here we have another cell like this. Is it clear? So here we have contact between the terminal with another cell. The neuron may pass the impulse along to the second cell, and the location at which a neuron can transfer an impulse to another is called synapse, as we said. Here is the synapse shape. Here we have the knob, as I told you, and we have the next membrane of the next neuron. Do you see this image here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's magnified here, it becomes bigger. You can see how the terminal knob is contact with the next membrane of the next or the second cell. Okay. Fine. Let's see in details what is happening there. What is happening in the synapse? Please focus with me. I'll open the board. Okay. Here actually In the synapse,
Mr. Tomorrow, we will have a period tomorrow.
we will have a quiz tomorrow. I will talk about this later. Right.
No, Mr.
Wait. Let me finish the idea, then we can discuss anything. Now, I will take the synapse here to see what is happening in the synapse area. This is the terminal ending, knob, as we said. And here, the next membrane of next neuron. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is happening?
Mr.
Yes.
Mister.
Yes.
Mr. The knob is connected with dendrites, right?
It could be with dendrites or with the cell body, no problem. Okay?
Oh, okay.
It could be here, for example, your example you're given here with the dendrites. Okay? It could be with the dendrites or could be with the cell body itself, because the dendrite is extension from the cell body. Okay? The membrane.
Okay.
Right. This one, this membrane of the terminal, we called it pre-synaptic membrane. Okay? And this one, we called it what? Post-synaptic membrane. Okay, guys?
So which one is pre-synaptic and which one is post-synaptic?
The pre-synaptic, the one of the terminal of the neuron number 1. And this is the neuron number 2. The post-synaptic membrane is the membrane of what? Of the neuron number 2. We said here, we have a neuron number 1. Okay. And the neuron number 2, the message or the impulse should travel from this one to this one. Okay. How? Through the synaptic connection here. In the knob, this is the knob. In the knob, the membrane. This is the membrane of the knob. And this is the membrane of the next neuron. You understand? Right. We said before here, sorry. We said here, the message or the impulse travel along the axon to the terminal to the knob. Then the impulse travel to the next neuron. How it travels? Now the message arrived the knob. If the message arrived the knob, what will happen? Let's see. Back here. If the message arrived the knob. Okay. Now, if the impulse arrived the knob coming toward the ending of terminals, there are channels of calcium. Channels of calcium. Ca plus 2 channels. Okay, guys? These channels open if the impulse arrive, the channels of calcium ions open. Calcium ions found outside. Calcium ions found outside. Diffuse inside the knob. Diffuse inside the knob. Okay? When it diffuse inside, there are vesicles containing chemicals. Vesicles containing chemicals. These chemicals called neurotransmitters. What we called it? Neurotransmitters. Remember the name is very easy name. Neurotransmitters. From their name, you can know what they do. Actually, when the impulse arrive, number 1, the impulse arrive. Number 2, the calcium channels open. The calcium ions diffuse inside. When it diffuse inside, it helps the vesicles containing neurotransmitters to fuse with the presynaptic membrane. Okay, fuse with the presynaptic membrane and release the neurotransmitters outside. Look. Okay, so these vesicles fuse in the membrane and release their neurotransmitters in this space between the two cells. This is space called synaptic space or synaptic cleft. Okay, cleft. So synaptic space or synaptic cleft. Okay, the neurotransmitters then attach to a receptors. These are receptors found on the next membrane of the next neuron, which we called it post membrane. You remember? These are receptors.
Yeah.
Receptors. Okay, binding the neurotransmitters on the receptors. Binding the neurotransmitters on the receptors lead to make action potential in the next neuron. Action potential in the here. Action potential here. Okay, and you know the action potential is the impulse, right? And then this action potential or the impulse move along the neuron. Moves along the neuron to the axon and continue toward its terminals. You understand the idea? I will repeat it very quickly. We said once the impulse arrives the knob, the terminal, channels of calcium ions open, diffuse inside, a vesicles containing neurotransmitters fuse with the presynaptic membrane, okay? Then release their neurotransmitters in the synaptic cleft. Then the neurotransmitters attach on the receptors on the postsynaptic membrane of the next neuron. This binding of neurotransmitters or attachment of neurotransmitters on the receptors lead to make action potential in the next neuron. This action potential or the impulse moves forward toward the terminals of the next neuron and so on. Any question about this? Yes.
So can you repeat?
Sorry?
Can you repeat?
I repeated 2 times. I will repeat one more very quickly. Number one, the impulse arrive the terminal. Right here, number one, the impulse arrive the terminal. This arriving of impulse open calcium ions channels. Number 3, Ya Khaldun. Now, the calcium, Ca plus, the calcium diffuse inside the knob. Number 4, that's help what? The vesicles, vesicles containing what? Neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters, I will write NT, neurotransmitters, okay? To fuse with, to fuse with the presynaptic membrane. Okay? Number 5, neurotransmitters what? Released to where? Synaptic, what we called it, synaptic cleft
Synaptic space.
or space. Synaptic cleft.
Yeah.
Number 6, neurotransmitters attach on their receptors. Excellent. On where? On
postsynaptic membrane.
synaptic membrane. Okay. And number 7, what will happen here? Yeah, number 7 here, Number 7, what will happen? That what? That generate
Impulse.
this attachment, generate impulse or action potential in post synaptic membrane. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question now,
everything, right?
the question, I have a question. Now, do you think that these neurotransmitters should stay attached to the receptors forever?
No.
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 Yani, once they attach to the receptors and make action potential in the postsynaptic membrane, so that's all, no need for more. So what will happen now? The neurotransmitters return back to the knob. It's either do one of the following: return back to the knob to be recycled and used again, yes, or there are enzymes here in the cleft. These enzymes, their function is
Break it down.
break down the neurotransmitters. Okay, so it recycled or broken down. Number 8, we say the neurotransmitters are then what? Broken down by enzymes, or what? Or return back.
No.
Sorry. Wait. Or return back or gets back
Pre-synaptic.
to the
Synaptic membrane.
pre-synaptic, yes,
Synaptic.
membrane to be used, or again to be used, to be used again. Okay, guys, is it clear? Is it clear for
Yes.
all?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is the synapse, and this is what happening between the terminals of the neuron and the next neurons. Let's see the slides very quickly. Here we said this is number 1 when the impulse arrive. Please, in the slides they didn't mention that the channels of calcium, so add it. Number 1, the impulse arrive the knob. Number 2, the channels of calcium open, so calcium diffuse inside. This point number 2 is not mentioned in the slides, so it's important to write it. Okay, the calcium ions diffuse inside. These calcium ions help the vesicles containing neurotransmitters to fuse with the presynaptic membrane and release the neurotransmitters, these yellow points, in the cleft. Then it's attached on the receptors of the postsynaptic membrane, so of the next cell, the adjacent cell, so that makes stimulus in the next cell. Okay, guys? Any question about this point?
No.
No.
Good.
Mister.
Yes.
Mister, I have a question.
Yes.
Mister, what does calcium do again?
Calcium found outside the in the fluids outside the neurons.
Yes.
Here. Yeah, it's found here outside. Yeah. Okay, calcium.
The Mister, when it diffuses inside, what does it do to the?
It's help the vesicles. It's helped the vesicles to fuse with the membrane and release the neurotransmitters. Guys, if you don't have a question, mute your mic. Okay. These diffuse across, we said this. Okay, explained. Right. Let's go to the quiz. Yalla, very quickly. Who can answer this very quickly? Neurons that carry impulses from brain and spinal cord to the muscle are?
D.
B.
Sensory neuron.
No.
Guys,
it's
it's
motor neuron.
B.
brain
Motor neuron.
brain and spinal cord to muscle. So from central nervous system to muscle, to effector.
Motor neuron.
Motor neuron.
Motor
Motor,
neuron. Let's see. Yes,
Yeah.
excellent. Motor neuron. Next one. The part of the neuron that carries impulses toward the cell body is the?
Axon.
X.
Axon.
Yeah, axon.
towards the cell body. Towards the cell body?
Dendrites. The
Then
part of
right,
the
yes.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
carries impulses toward the
Toward
cell
the cell
body. Guys,
Then right.
look here. This is the cell body, and these the dendrites. It carries the impulse from here toward the cell body.
The cell body.
So it's from
Yeah.
dendrites to cell body to axon to terminals. Okay, this is the
Yes.
arrangement. Type the minimum level of stimulus that is required to activate a neuron is called as
Threshold.
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 threshold. Yes.
C.
Chemicals that are used by neuron to transmit impulses are
The
called
neurotransmitters.
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 A.
Sure. Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. طيب. Last one, huh?
An action potential.
An action potential begins when? When the action potentials begin. Please read it first, then give an answer quickly. Huh?
A.
Yes, A.
Sodium ions flow into the neuron. That's how the action potential begins. You sure?
Yes.
Yes, because
C or
because
D.
the NA channel will open.
Yeah, excellent.
A.
End of section. Guys, before we finish the session, I will you will have mashallah I'd like to write on the board, so I will give you a board, smart board to write on. Anyway, I was saying that there's a quiz inshallah tomorrow. Okay,
Mister, why tomorrow? Make it on Sunday.
make it on Sunday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's
Some people
fine.
come. What do you mean tomorrow?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
On Sunday,
asleep like till 11.
on Sunday, at which time you want it? Huh?
We have only one ticket.
We have only one thing.
After you finish your sessions, let's say at 1.
1 or 2.
At
two.
1.
Yeah.
At 1 is good. Okay. At 1 p.m. Okay, on Sunday.
At 1, mister?
Yeah, at 1 on Sunday, inshallah. Okay, you have a quiz, multiple choice. It will be on Classera.
Okay.
How many questions, mister? How many questions?
5 questions. It will be on this chapter.
Okay.